Hey guys, I'm Pacey Said about this. It is new in Nashville. I'm here with Max McNown, and first of all, you are a West Coast native, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so how is it being, you're back on the West Coast, you are living in Nashville at the time?
I am, yes, currently living in Nashville.
So what was that culture shock like?
When I moved from Bend? Nashville, I always say Nashville feels like the least city. Yeah. That's always what I say. Yeah. Kind of, especially in the music world, it is so tightly knit. And in my experience, it hasn't been as much about, chopping other people at the knees to try to grow. It's been kind of a community that the people that I've met have lifted me up. Yeah. And it's just, it's a great community. So it wasn't too bad. The biggest culture shock for me was actually just in regards to nature, leaving the West Coast, leaving the Pacific Northwest.
I mean, you're in the concrete jungle. I mean, I know technically New York's concrete jungle. Yeah. But you can apply that here too versus Nashville, where it's the amount of green there is insane.
Yeah. Nashville, I was surprised. When I first visited Nashville, I spent some time in Franklin, which I love. And when I first visited, I was just blown away at how green it actually was. It almost seemed like a Southern Oregon type of thing, where it's like, there's a lot of green, it gets a lot of rain, but the rain there just dumps for 10 minutes.
And it's warm. And the rain is warm in the summer.
Very strange, very strange. I'd only felt that a couple times in my life.
Yeah.
But Oregon is hard to beat when it comes to scenery, hikes, camping. That's kind of what I grew up doing. Yeah. So the shock for me was just not having a bunch of public land to go and camp on,
Absolutely.
That's a big activity that I love to do.
So would you say that being from, it's Bend, Oregon you're from, right?
Yeah, I'm from two hometowns. So I grew up in West Lynn, Oregon, and I went to high school in Lake Oswego, and then I moved to Bend after high school. So it's a little bit of both. I claim both.
Would you say growing up there, because a lot of people that do country type music, they're from the South, and they're from hunting and fishing towns. Yeah. Would you say it kind of influenced your style of music being from the West Coast, being from that part of Oregon?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Northwest is, I lived there for 21 years of my life, and I just turned 24. So pretty much my entire life still. So all that I am is the Northwest. Yeah. I've moved to Nashville primarily for business reasons. Yeah. And so every song that I write, I try to channel a little bit of my home and put it into it. And I think that's, leaning into that is what separates you from a lot of the people that are in a genre that comes from a lot of hot spots. Yeah. So there's a lot of people from the hot spots, Oklahoma or Texas or Arkansas, or, that's a lot of country from there. I think kind of the country folk world in the Northwest is one that isn't fully tapped into. Yeah. And so I try to lean in and just write music that's authentic to me.
So when you say, another influence on your music, from what I understand, is your girlfriend. Yeah. So what would you say? Would you say that meeting her kind of just took your music writing on a totally different route, or kind of played into where your route was already going?
Averyana calls me a lover boy. She says there aren't many lover boys out there, and she says I'm a lover boy. Right. I think I have always been a lover boy. I'm very in tune with my emotions. Yeah. And so,
sorry to stop you, but when you talk to her, do you call her Averyana? Or
I just call her Avery.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, hey, Averyana.
Right, I know that.
Yeah,
sorry.
No.
But sorry, continue.
Yeah. I think I've always just been kind of a deep well of emotion. Yeah. And so writing songs has always been, something that I've been drawn to. I think that it was a natural progression of my life to find somebody, and now I definitely write more love songs now. Yeah, so it changed in that way, but that doesn't mean I also won't write gut-wrenching nostalgic songs either, or channel the heartbreaks, the mini heartbreaks of my life before her, to write some tough to listen to sad guy
at 24 music. You have that many heartbreaks already?
Here's the thing, I was a gunslinger. I was my self-esteem was in the gutter in high school, and I thought that dating someone cool would make me like myself more. Right. And so I leaned into that.
Probably the opposite, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have to work on yourself. You got to become a better you for them, one could say.
Some good advice
but
there,
it's the truth. I mean, that's where I learned that. It was I kept on trying to I kept on thinking like, oh, why can't I find anybody? It must be, I mean, I feel like I'm doing everything right. And it's like, wait, no, I have to take a second, breathe for 2 seconds, and maybe think that I could improve myself to become the person that I want to find, that type of human, you know? Yeah, well, that's what Better Me For You is about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So going back to, and I'm not trying to pry too much into your dating life.
Pry hard.
But when you are working with other people, like, how am I trying to say this? Like,
I think I know where you're going.
When you're working with other women and in music, like, does it kind of create like an awkwardness at all?
It depends on the woman.
Right.
You know, like Averyana is a ray of sunshine. Right. She's like nothing but positive and writes incredible music, and she's no nonsense. And, and you know, there was never a moment, I mean, like I FaceTimed my lady at our first shoot with Averyana, and she wasn't even worried anyway, but she just met Avery, and ever since then, she's like, no, I love that Averyana. Like she's fully supportive. So that's never been a problem with Avery, nor Grace Tyler, who I did, I Can Still Make Cheyenne. Covered that song with her. Professional, awesome person. So you have to choose your battles. I think if I was, you know, writing a song with somebody who portrays themselves as, you know, a central feature of their public life is like a sex icon or somebody who's, you know, dated a ton of people in the industry, and now I'm doing a song with her and it's a love song, you know, then I think there's different conversations. But with somebody like Avery or somebody like Grace, or Haley Witters for that matter, no nonsense, professional. Dude. You know, you can be friends with all people, and as long as you have trust and openness with the person you love, like I haven't run into any issues whatsoever.
I love that. Yeah. I love that. Then you guys are really secure then, which is great.
Yeah, feeling really good.
That's awesome.
more than ever.
I love that. I mean, especially since you found yourself, and
found the routine. You know, like the hardest part during my sound check, I just sang a song called "Won't Let Me Go" from my newest album, and "Won't Let Me Go" I wrote looking up at kind of the mountain of touring. Like, oh my gosh, I'm about to go on my first tour, and it's this imaginary like a bunch of temptations around every corner, and like people just like drinking and drugs, and like that's not what I want, you know? And so, but I was afraid of kind of the world I was stepping into because it was unfamiliar, and the thing that we fear most is the unknown. Right. And so I wrote that song thinking like, oh man, am I gonna make it? Are we gonna make it? Right. And now that I've toured and played like 250 shows, I'm like, yeah, we'll make it. Yeah. It's fine. Like, I am the commander of my own fate, and if I can, you know, make the right choices and stay on the straight and narrow, then that's where all the responsibility lies. Would you say if I mess up, then that's all on me, you know? But I trust myself now, which was one of the big blocks that I had to step onto. Yeah. So would you say that the old you would have kind of messed up? Depends when. I think when I turned 21 and moved to California, you know, the verses of Better Me For You talk about it. I was, you know, I had my heart broken a lot. A Lot More Free was written about a really, really difficult kind of dishonest heartbreak. And so I was convinced that it just wasn't in the cards for me for a few years. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to use the gift God's given me to sing. I'm going to go to karaoke bars. I'm going to take advantage of it and try to pick up girls. And I've never hated myself more in my entire life than those moments. And the whole Better Me For You thing, it's written in a way that the chorus hits and it's like, you're blown back. It's like, I didn't know you'd have brown eyes. Like, I didn't know all these little things would just come out of nowhere and hit me like a truck. Yeah. And I just remember the first time I met her in person, it was like everything else was gone. Right. So all that person I was like, no, this is the sign that I needed to kind of button up my life. Right. You know, so I you know, jumped straight on to just, you know, horse vision, tunnel vision for her, and it hasn't changed since. Dude, I love that. Yeah. So going back to, you've done 250 plus shows. Is it insane to you that you're on tour now, but I looked and I don't think I saw more than 2 dates that weren't sold out. Like how is that blowing your mind? Has it hit you, or are you kind of just like go where you haven't even had time to process? The honest answer is go. Yeah. And we'll talk about the processing and the mental health question at the end. Yeah. Because it is, the reality is it's go. And a lot of my team, if you ask them, they'd say I don't get excited too much, which I do. I just keep it in here. Right. And, you know, I'll celebrate in my mind, and then I'll think, what's next? What do I need to do? I want to keep climbing day by day. I want to keep growing. I use and overuse and abuse this analogy, but a staircase, right? Like if I look up 100 feet in the air, if I look up at the top of that parking structure and I go, okay, I got to jump. We got to make it up there. Like when I first started touring, if I'm opening for 40 people for another band and I'm being told, okay, by this time next year, you're going to be selling out 2,000 tickets and you have to headline. I'd be like, no, I can't. Like, I'm not going to be able to do that.
Right.
But if there was a staircase that went along the side of that building, easy.
Yeah.
One step at a time.
Yeah.
So that's how I handle it. That's how I process. It's just one day at a time. Compartmentalization it can be healthy in certain scenarios. And in
other scenarios, not so much. Yeah.
But like something that comes with the territory of being an image for somebody, or if somebody's looking at me, for example, if I'm about to sing Better Me For You, it's a love song, I want to put my heart and emotion into it, and if I get really bad news right before the show, I have to just go, you know what? I'm going to have to unpack that later.
Right.
And we're going to go and perform.
I hear it. You leave it off the stage.
Song. Yes. Yeah, exactly.
So speaking of that, I always love to talk about mental health, especially for
very important.
So many people look up to you. Like I saw the line outside your concert, so, and there are so many people that look up to you. So maybe they want to know, and a lot of people want to know, someone that's as busy as you, how do you kind of keep that mental health in check? Like, what do you do to keep yourself essentially sane with the type of schedule you have? Yeah,
it's an everyday battle. There's several facets of that answer. One, like we just talked about, don't worry too much about what's a year down the line or months down the line. Worry about what you can control, and that is today. Try to do your best to take everything day by day. I think it was C.S. Lewis that said, do not suffer more in imagination than in reality. So when you're thinking about a scary event or something you're nervous or anxious about, the more you think about it. I remember in school, like I'd have a test and I would worry about it all week. And then the test would go by and it's a 30-minute test. And even if I got a B or a C, I'd be like, oh, that actually wasn't as bad as I just put myself through all the agony through this entire week. So that's the same thing in music. Don't worry too hard about the future. Do what you can do now. Another thing, journaling. When I was at Boston Calling, I had the absolute honor of meeting Luke Combs, and his production manager looked at me real serious. We were just talking and joking, and he literally got this serious look on his face, and he was like, it is amazing what's happening in your life. And I'm like, thank you, I know, and he's like, no, are you writing it down? And I said, not really. I had a journal when I was younger, but I'm not writing in it anymore.
Wow.
And he said, write it down, because no matter what you think, you are going to forget about very important moments and lessons that you learn in your life.
Right.
And so I started to write every morning, just in my journal, write down details about the last show and details that I wanted to remember about certain fans that made an impact on me. And,
I love that.
So journaling, I am a follower of Jesus. I try to spend some time in scripture each day. I'm not as good as I wish I was.
No one is.
To be honest.
No one is.
But those are kind of the three things. Take things day by day. Don't suffer more in imagination than you do in reality. Journal, write down things both. No, you're good. Write down things both for processing of those things and memory of those things.
Yep.
And then spend time in the Word. Learn about what Jesus taught and how he lived his life, and try to emulate that. And I think you'll just overall become a healthier person for others and for yourself.
I love that. Max McNown, thank you so much for, honestly, even that last part probably is going to help so many people. So
I hope so.
I really appreciate you for stopping by New in Nashville. And I can't wait to see you perform, man.
I love it. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.